Segue to a segment. This is called Adventures of Gene and Ev. This is a Gene. I know. All right, on this very special Adventures of Gene and Ev, I'll have a little hypothetical for you guys, and then you guys can tell me. Well, it's funny because we were talking about this earlier. Where exactly this police discretion came from, and how exactly does it work, and all these factors of just protecting yourself when you are hypothetically put in these circumstances. But what it is Gene was driving home from a night out with his wife on the Day of the Dead, right? And he had face makeup on half his face, like skulls and shit, right? And his wife also, hypothetically, had also on this on his face. They're driving. They're 1 block away from their home. They have to make a left and another left, so they're right around the block. And as they pull up to the light, cops just approach the car.
Describe the car.
It's a Tesla, hypothetically.
It's got rims and tinted windows.
No tinted windows.
No tinted windows.
Gene, hypothetically, does not believe in tints. It sounds like a excuse to get pulled over.
Oh, that's
Too Hispanic for that.
Tints are definitely an excuse to get pulled over.
Definitely an excuse to get pulled over.
Saying, pull me over.
Pull me over. I'm good. No, don't pull me over. I have a Tesla. Ugh, scary. All right. So they walk up to the car. Eugene does not get pulled over in this hypothetical. He gets approached by police while at a red light.
On foot.
On foot.
Okay.
Foot patrol. They just walk up.
What county is this?
This is in Queens.
How many cops?
2 cops.
Okay.
Look at the lawyer question.
So like,
I mean, we got to do a
Gene believes that
hypothetical.
this must be a checkpoint. That's what it feels like. I don't know why you guys are just creeping up on me. Regardless of the skills Gene don't have, he don't know how a checkpoint's supposed to work and not supposed to work. I would imagine it's supposed to be like, hey, you're next. Like a little like fucking, come on down to the checkpoint. And you theoretically could bust a Yui if you had to. Yeah, but this is not one of those things. They just post up to the car and they go, hey, what you guys doing? We just came from a day dev thing, you know. We just came from the place. You been drinking? No, officer. You look like you've been drinking. No, have not, officer. Are you sure you look drunk? You sound drunk. I don't sound drunk, officer. Gene says, I don't sound drunk. Officer goes, what's that? He goes, I don't know, officer. It's a beer can. Wife is trained. It's my beer can, officer. Not his beer can. It's my beer can. I've been drinking. I'm drunk. Officer, I'm not drunk. Gene is not drunk, I mean. Officer, like, I'm not drunk. It's like, you're drunk. I'm not drunk. I have not been drinking. I live right around the block. So what we doing? Because I have not been drinking.
Yeah, he's got a quota to make, man.
No. This is what happens, allegedly, in this hypothetical. The officer goes, I know you're drunk, but I'm not going to arrest you. But I know you're drunk. And because I know you're drunk and I can't let you drive home, get out the car. I'm going to park your car and you can go home.
This cop is doing way too much.
Gene gets out the car. He's shocked. They can't figure out the Tesla because it's complicated. He gets back in the car. They buzz a Yui, they park. They get to walk on their merry way. I guess the question based on this conversation is, like you said, right? That is kind of more discretion. I guess maybe, there's a lot of factors, right? It's because it's a legal car stop.
This isn't a prosecutor question because we would never see it.
You're right. I guess the question becomes...
I mean...
I guess this is an E-cab situation, right?
No, they didn't make an arrest.
Well, no. Because the funny thing is, the funny thing is, sometimes this exact case, which is they have a weak case, it's a legal car stop, right? This is my understanding of the scenario, right? And this is why I know, even though Gene is being accused of being drunk, and he's not drunk, but he's being accused of being drunk, he wasn't arrested. 1, it's a legal car stop, right? 2.
Well, is it even a stop because they're stopped at a red light? It's like more of a DeBour issue than anything, right?
Of course, it's more complex than it has to be for a cop, right? 2, he never admits to drinking, right? So it becomes, what do you really have at this point? right?
You have an open container
You
in the
have the
vehicle.
smell of alcohol. You have the signs of. They're all the same shit that they always.
Yeah,
say.
you have the signs of intoxication.
Yeah.
Slurred
Watery,
speech,
black eyes.
bloodshot, watery eyes, smell
Well,
of alcohol,
allegedly, right?
Well, they're gonna say it anyway.
Allegedly.
disheveled clothing,
Allegedly.
and you have an open container in the
That's
vehicle.
probably the biggest one that I would be concerned about if I was Gene. Well, at the end of the day, this person wasn't arrested, but this could have turned into a DP, right? Like the reason why this question is relevant to the conversation we're about to dive back into is that this is part of ECAM,
It
right?
wouldn't have turned into a DP because you have an 1192-1, which you have enough where the officer can articulate that you were showed the signs of intoxication.
Well, you don't think so? As a prosecutor, you're not concerned about why this cop even pulled up to the car to the window?
Yeah, but you're talking about an extreme of a DP at intake. Why not process the case and then investigate later about the stop and decide?
So I give you an example. I've been in scenarios
You have
where
an open-
people have
you have an
gotten
open container.
DPs because they were not able. A factor of DPing it was that they were not able to get the refusal
Yes, but in your
because it's more than 2 hours
you don't
past.
even
So now all they have is observation.
that's but that's
But they don't have
that's a
observation
little
of him
different.
driving erratically. So 1192 subject
That's a little
1 would
different.
require the drinking to be impairing his driving. But they stopped him at a red light. They didn't witness any impairment in driving. They don't even have 1192-1. They have a ticket for open container.
Well, first of all,
Well, you don't.
We never got
car
to there.
stop doesn't have to necessarily be like so. Remember, 1192-1, you have to just prove operation. If you're talking about the procedural part of the stop, which will lead into the fruit of the poisonous tree to throw everything out, that's different from the actual charge itself. 1192-1, once you have operation and signs of intoxication, you're good.
Well, I thought it
You
was
don't
in
need
the
a
statute.
you don't
Yeah,
need a
but
good stop.
you need a sign. There's signs enough to walk up to someone from outside the car. If you didn't see them. If you didn't see
Is
them.
that not the,
It's not
the officers?
intoxication. It's intoxication to affect the ability to drive. So like you can legally consume a beer of alcohol below under 0.08 and if you're not speeding, if you're not doing if there's no science to say that alcohol you've consumed has impaired your ability to drive, then you can't be 1192-1.
That's a bad stop. That's not
I think
meeting the
we should just go
elements
through
of the
it.
charge.
Let's just go through it one step at a time. Okay? So let's just start at the first thing that happens. The vehicle was operating on the road, right? We all agree on that.
It's operation.
The vehicle does not have tinted windows, so you can look into it. There's plain view. Yes. There are two people who appear to have been at some sort of celebration due to the face coverings.
Facts.
There is an open container in the cup holder. Yes.
That
Yes,
part, whether
they're
they knew
also,
that or knew
they're
that before they
also
walked up,
likely
is a
patrolling
question.
because of the type of night it is.
Day of the Dead, circumstances. Now, they did not stop the vehicle, so they don't have to say there's an articulable infraction, VTO infraction.
It was plain sight.
But the first thing they say is at level 2 DeBour, right? We agree on that?
What was the first thing you said again?
I knew you were
Where are you
drinking.
heading?
No. They walked up. They was like, "Where you guys coming from? What you doing?
Okay,
Where you
that's
going?"
level 2, right?
100%.
Okay, so we all agree that's level 2?
100%.
Yeah. It's
So
what's up?
now we have to ask
Inquiry.
ourselves. So
That
level.
is a
So
goal.
le- so
Inquiry, right?
in New York State, we actually have 4 levels of street interactions. Level 1
And this
is
is
your
another
common
episode.
law, simple like, oh
Hey,
hi,
how you
how are
doing?
you?
Yeah.
What's you can an officer can ask anybody their name. You don't have to answer. An officer has to have a more articulable suspicion in order to get to level 2, which is to actually ask you questions. Where are you going? Where are you coming from? Things that they don't have the right to ask,
Which we
unless
call
they have a
inquiry.
specific thing. Level 3, which is a New York thing, right?
Detention.
Is your you can detain somebody, you can do a pat frisk for your
Terry
safety, Terry stop, but it can't be a generalized thing like the Terry stops that are
No, it has to be
stop
if the pat down has to be indicative of violence.
Well, you can pat down for your safety.
Well,
If you get to level 3 and you're at the point of inquiry and suspicion, you can pat down for your safety to continue
If the
that
inquiry or
process.
if
But
the
only for
reason
safety.
if the reason for level 3 is you think that there's a violent crime associated with
Violence,
what
too far.
No, it is.
No,
It
it's
doesn't need to be
Crime.
violent. It doesn't need to be violent.
Crime.
It just needs to be
A crime
if
afoot.
I'm at level 2
It's a
and
crime
I
afoot.
now have an articulable reason why I feel a little concerned for my safety. Maybe there's a bulge, maybe the way you're acting, maybe the way you're standing, maybe you're blading your stance. Any of these things, I can do a pat down for my safety.
And
That is
it's-
legally
At level
the way
two?
it's allowed. At level
Three.
3.
Oh, level 3.
And it's-
Okay.
and
Okay.
it's only
We're
a
at
pat
level
down.
2. We
We're at-
do these
okay.
things. It brings us to level 3.
Oh, I get what you're
Right?
saying.
I can't start going and
Yeah,
pointing
yeah, yeah.
and pocketing.
Now, you
I can
can't-
just
no,
pat.
No pockets, no zippers, none of that.
I'm looking. It's a pat
exterior,
down
and it has
for
to be
weapons.
for what you may be seeing that may be indicative of a weapon.
Yeah, and it could be any number of
weapons,
things, right? Like
yeah.
maybe
For
somebody's
weapons.
acting like maybe somebody looks like they're about to run away, right? Like they're backing up away from you a little bit. Maybe they look like they're about to run away, and you're like, we're in the middle of a conversation. I'm asking you questions because I'm at the articulable suspicion level, and now you're acting like you're about to run from me, and I'm scared. Or maybe you look like you're about to grab something. I don't know. I'm concerned. Little pat down to see if there's anything.
Yes.
So I can continue my inquiry.
That is a upgraded level 2. That is not because I think we are literally. Let's say you're at a 3 for a non-violent crime, and there is no sketchy behavior, flight, or this jazz. You can't pat down.
True. Yeah. It's for safety only.
You
You
can't.
have to be able to
You
articulate.
can,
There's a
you can
safety
pat
concern.
down for safety.
Yeah.
No.
No, we agree with that.
No. Let's say, for example, the crime is a non-violent crime, petty larceny, right? And I stop you because you fit the description, but it's for petty larceny at level 3 for a non-violent crime, and you are not currently behaving in a way that is making you appear threatening.
Which this is subjective.
Of course it's subjective.
The police are always
At
gonna
that
say,
point, it's
and
not.
they're
It's
always
not.
gonna
A
pat
pat
you
down
down.
is not legal.
Police officers are always gonna.
But
pat.
obviously, if you have a
It's a
bone,
subjective
if you have a-
stance.
Because they also can pat for safety. They have a right to pat for safety.
So-
But regardless, back to this so we could get to your hypothetical.
For anyone who's not from New York, by the way, level 3 does not exist in all states, and it's not a federal rule. It is a New York state rule. Under people v. DeBour. Okay, so we have four levels of street choosing. The fourth level is your probable cause for an arrest and search. In the federal courts and in most states in the country, level 3 and level 4 are the same level. Okay.
Yep.
So the reason why I make that distinction is because the reason why we're parsing this and we're pulling it apart, we're actually struggling. We always struggle to pick out what's level 3 and what's level 4, whereas a lot of other places and a lot of law enforcement who come from outside of the state of New York don't understand
think
this
it's the
difference. They think it's the same. Okay, so we know that we were at level 2 because, or arguably level 2, because their question is clearly level 2.
Yeah.
Whether or not they're justified in approaching with level 2 is
Exactly.
I would say that's
I think we can say
it depends on what they saw. If they say we could see the open container from the street,
That's level
Then-
3.
then-
I think it's. I
Or
think level
even-
2
even-
gets some of the face paint, the day of the year, the fact that they're traveling at
Yes,
nighttime.
yeah, all
All of that
those
gets them level
factors.
2.
And
Yeah.
even
And then
maybe
you get
seeing her
close, and then you
drinking.
see the container, that's automatically level 3, and really level 4, because then they have enough probable cause for a crime to issue
they have
an
enough
arrest.
for a
Damn, bro.
summons.
Who's the 88s? Nah.
I thought this was a hypothetical.
By the end of this, we're gonna have him turned around, okay?
All I want to do is I want everybody to take note that he made the statement. It was him. All defense attorneys, he made the statement.
Well, look, I think the.
We're gonna be silent on this one.
I'm gonna invoke my fifth.
I guess answering the question, right? Assuming this hypothetical is happening in reality, I guess. What do you think? What made if a cop is out? Because we talked about this earlier. If they have enough to go on, in theory, they just gotta go on it. What part? And I know that's not your job, but I guess it sounds kind of similar in the sense that. What you think moves that discretion one way or the other, and what was their discretion in that situation?
Are you? So I mean, I guess.
I don't know. Maybe you don't
I
know.
guess let's change your hypothetical and say that the Gene got arrested, because I think that makes the hypothetical a little better.
No. I think that's easy. He got arrested because they thought he was drunk. That's not rocket science.
So what part of your hypothetical? So he parks your car. What's the question?
The question is an officer basically saying, I know you're drunk, but I am not going to. I'm not going to arrest you.
He said, "I know you're drunk, and I don't want to do the paperwork tonight because I want to go home."
You think that's what it is? It's a pure paperwork?
No,
No,
let me
I
not.
don't think that's the
Cut.
case.
Sorry.
Look, I think the moment Gene admits to drinking under this scenario, the moment he goes, "Okay, officer, you're right. I had one beer." He's going to the 112.
You're being investigated.
Yeah.
He's gone. I think the moment what I think is that what they were doing, it was a long three, and they didn't want to do a long three. They wanted a layup, and what they really wanted was I had a beer, because the moment I had a beer happens, one, they're secure from like wrongful arrest, right? Because this guy articulated he had a beer. What if he gets a 112 and there's fucking a 0 on it? Haha, motherfucker! I'm suing the fuck out of you.
Well,
I don't know. I disagree with you. I just think that I don't think there was an admission would have changed.
Oh, hell yeah.
no, it's
I think an
100%
admission-
gonna change it.
100 would
No,
have.
I think
110%.
110%.
no. What I
Oh yes. Are you crazy?
so what I'm trying to say is I don't think an admission makes the case stronger. Yes,
But they had
but I
enough
think
to
they
arrest.
had enough to arrest. Is my point.
Oh
disagree.
yeah.
And nine out of 10
I
times
disagree.
they're going to arrest.
Maybe the case wouldn't have went further than hearings, but they had enough to arrest.
Here's
They
what
have
No,
an
no, no,
open
no, no.
container.
I think you're misunderstanding
Just
my
because you
question.
said my girl is drinking don't mean
Okay,
that
of course,
that's not an
of
open
course.
container.
You understand-
You have access to
No,
it. Could
of
have
course,
drank.
of course. You are misunderstanding my question, though. My question is not whether they did have enough arrests. They definitely had arrests. Gene, hypothetically, was like, I'm fucked. I'm about to get arrested.
Gene
Right?
got
But
privilege
guys,
in the
guys,
situation.
Maybe.
Period.
I think that's a big
End of
swing to
story.
say they had enough to arrest. I don't believe they did.
Mr. Tesla.
They needed more answers. But the big thing that would have helped them is if the wife didn't say that's her cup, right? Because then it's like, all right, either one of you could be drinking this. They need to investigate. Please step out of the car. Come to the back of the car. Watch your gait. See if the smell is the drink in the cup or your breath.
But that's my thing.
now
they
they're
had
doing
enough to do that too. They just chose
yes,
not to.
there we go. They had enough to continue the inquiry. They decided not to because, and here's what I think happened. Wife was well trained. Wife said, "That's my cup." They realized, oh shit, she's saying she's the one drinking in the car. We could give her a summons. We don't want to give her a summons.
They could have
and waste our time on
still
this.
kept going on him.
They could have tried, but I think that they came to the conclusion that, and look, not all cops are looking to reach the quota every single day of the week.
And I think that's the conclusion. I think they just chose not to pursue it in the moment.
Yes, they could have pursued
Not because
to
they
make
didn't
their
have enough.
investigation.
Not
No,
because they
they
didn't
had
have
enough
enough.
to continue the investigation. They did not have enough for an arrest. They had enough for a summons based upon the open container. They could not have arrested him based solely on the open container in the car and him having face makeup on.
No, but they said they had observations of
They said you
Intoxication.
sound like you're drinking. That's
Slurred
I mean,
speech.
the truth of the matter is, like,
he had makeup, so no bloodshot.
In truth, they wanted to get me to admit that they wanted Gene to admit that he's drunk. And how do you get someone to admit to they're drunk? You accuse them of being drunk.
Well, I mean,
I
Like,
agree.
those are the facts.
But they
It was a
could have
trap.
they could have still took
Yeah.
they could have still
They were
took
fishing.
Gene in the back of the car. They were fishing.
they could have asked him to go to the back car. They had enough to investigate. They did not have enough to make an arrest.
And had they investigated,
They probably would have found
arrested.
something.
Thank you.
They probably would have found something, and
They
Eugene
would've-
would
He
probably
was stone cold sober.
and Gene would have been
Gene
smart
is a
enough to say, "I'm
responsible,
not taking the
designated
breathalyzer,"
driver.
and that's it.
Gene is the most
Let me
responsible
ask
person.
Gene a question in this hypothetical. Was the body cameras on?
It's like a red light, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the red light's on,
I don't know. I tell you right now, the Tesla's body camera was on because Tesla got 4 cameras and they on and that stopped.
Had the body cameras?
I'd love to see that recording.
They know that. You know the funny part
If you
here?
ever find Gene, I'd love to see that recording.
yeah, this is Gene.
Hypothetically. You know, with AI nowadays, you can make a recording of anything.
I will say body cameras take away a lot of discretion from officers in this day and age. It helps people in their cases, but it also hurts the discretion of officers.
Yeah.
Well, because there's a hierarchy that encourages things.
You know they can
and
get in
then
trouble
have to-
for that too.
They
for
can
not
get in
arresting.
trouble.
Oh, yeah.
They can
Yeah.
I
get
thought they have discretion of when to issue.
No, with their
No, but
with
this
their
is-
body
this is-
camera,
they see-
they articulated it on the body camera.
They see something that could be worthy of
Dangerous for others,
investigation,
okay.
and it's a public safety concern. It's a big public safety
That body
concern.
camera was not on
Right?
that hypothetical.
And by doing what they did,
I can imagine
they
it
could
wasn't.
they really could have gotten a command discipline. They could have been suspended. And look, how do you if you don't arrest the person who's worthy of an investigation. You don't even do the investigation. The next guy, how do you justify the difference?
Body cameras.
You could take anybody who hasn't crashed a car and tell them to park the car.
A lot of what happens at that side of the road isn't really, it's really when they take you to the station house and then they actually, like in the 5 boroughs, they're not going to do the roadside tests and the breathalyzer doesn't mean anything on the side. They are going to officiate an arrest based off of whatever minimal evidence they have. What you said, right? And then they're going to take them to the station house, and then they're going to have them do the test, and if they deny it, that's another charge.
You do a lot of cases outside of New York City.
Yes, so you have to be trained to be able to do those tests, which is why a lot of officers don't and can't do it.
That's why they bring them to the station house to
yes,
do it.
because there's a trainer
but they officiate
there.
an arrest in order for them to do that.
The people that do it on
they have to have a
scene,
basis for taking you. They have to have a basis so they have that what happens
The
on the side of the
suspicion is
road
enough.
has to happen.
Well,
It's not enough for taken to the precinct. They have to have probable cause for an arrest before they take you to the precinct.
and the probable cause is the bloodshot, watery eyes, slurred speech, smell of alcohol, and everything.
The hypo didn't have bloodshot watery eyes. The hypo said,
not
you
the
sound
hypothetical
like.
defense.
Police are, but that's what they need. That's what a police officer needs. That's what he's going to write. And then it's going to be, and it's going to get figured out on the back end.
Let's not talk about
In a perfect
hypothetical.
world, you're right.
Let's